Welcome, traveler. Magic is quite potent in Wuchang. Who am I kidding? Magic is absolutely bonkers. That's normal game, not new game plus, obliterating the opponents from early to late game. And as a very interesting fact about spells, they can actually stagger. Ta-da! Yep. You don't have to do charged heavy attacks or anything like that. You approach your opponent, Echo of Dutanga, follow up, and then just finish them off. The first one should have staggered already. I just missed. And before you ask, yes, this works very well against bosses, especially since the Echo of Dutanga is kind of like a 360-degree around the world hit, which means you stand right next to your opponent after you dash past their attack, and then just bam, Echo long range, stagger them. Finish them off, follow up with another Echo, super burn damage. The most important thing for magic first, you need a one-handed sword. We're using the Astro Blade that you get from the Centipede boss, and before you start with a Dark Frost Edge from the Lingzen Temple right before the first boss. Why are we using one-handed swords though? And that's because of the Biding Time passive. Biding Time just passively generates Skyborn Might if you wield a one-handed sword, and if you actually do light attack, dashes, or spells, you can generate even more Skyborn Might. And in order to make this passive even stronger, we're heading to the left side for more Skyborn Might until you get Swift Resilience. We're going down into Alacrity, which makes you untargetable with certain spells, and above 50% Madness, you get even a stack of Skyborn Might. We'll get more to that in the spell section. You want Unbroken Focus. While above 90% Madness, the buff provided by Biding Time will not decay below 3 stacks. And we also take the bonus burn build-up from spells. I will now passively generate Skyborn Might with the one-handed sword, bottom left corner. I'm already at 5, and it will never go below 3. Now you're going to say, Pony, 90% Madness, I'm going to take more damage. You also deal more damage, and you're very nimble and agile using spells. Let's go to one of the most busted opponents, stupid, annoying birds. They do a lot of damage. So first, Fire Spell, right? That's almost taking him down by half. Then we can already follow up with the next fire spell. So Lad is looking already in shambles. He's going to try to hit you. You just dash 1. He's going to try to hit you. You're just going to dash 2. And then third fire spell plus a hit. And it's over. 18,000 Mercury, just like that. And not even remotely in danger. And I could have played that even safer. I could have played that even more in rage and even more chill. But I'm not chill, I'm aggressive. After getting your Unbroken Focus and the Fiery Embers, you want to make your way further to the left. So we get Skyborn Might restores some stamina, and you want to obviously have more stacks of Skyborn Might. Together then also with a buff down here that while above 50% Madness, the Skyborn Might cost of Echo type spells is reduced by 1, and we get the Magic Temperance Needle that if we temper our weapon with magic, will deal more spell damage. And since we're using the Astro Blade from the Centipede boss, the magic tempering is even more potent. What are Echo type spells? Well, the Echo of Dutanga, Echo of Soulwood, the Echo of the Great Centipede. All of these are reduced magic cost by 1. And especially for the Echo of Dutanga, that comes in really handy because now your first swing costs you 1. And then the second follow-up swing by pressing the button again is twice. And that is where a lot of the damage comes together. In the actual one-handed sword tree, you want to get as much magic as possible until you reach plus 50 in magic, because 50 is the hard cap. Afterwards, not really worth it. You want to upgrade your weapon with the Swift Blade Mastery, and we want to get Ascending Wrath. Ascending Wrath says, while above 90% Madness, the final attack of the light attack combo chain gives you 1 Skyborn Might. Now you're never going to spam the full light attack combo. That's just not worth it with your weapon. But what you can do is you can do the Echo of Dutanga, and then your last attack or your next attack will always be the final chain attack. So we're going to go Echo and then boop. That would be Skyborn Might. Echo, Skyborn Might. Very useful in the beginning if you're not building up all the stacks already, if you're not sitting at 5 Skyborn Might permanently. Which spells are we using now from the early to the late game? And there's 2 that stand out. That is the Echo of Dutanga for staggering bosses, elites, howsoever, with a super fire slam follow-up. That's pretty much your staple. And that one together with a flaming mask throw. These 2 with the burn build-up are just incredible. Every boss is almost vulnerable to burn. You rarely find anyone that's not vulnerable to burn, and I don't believe I have fought anyone who's straight away resistant to it. The Echo of Dutanga you get from the first boss. You can't pretty much miss it. And then from the Shoe Sanctum, we're gonna head for the Flaming Mask. You go outside where you meet the elite guy with the Hellbard, and then we're gonna make our way over the Invisible Bridge. As I said, these two spells are absolutely your staple, but we're gonna add another 3 to the fray to make it even more potent. One thing to look out in spells is they have 2 different scalings. Some spells scale with magic, other spells do scale with feathering. I'll show you as we then talk more about the spells. And we're gonna make our way up here, past all these enemies, into the second hidden part of Worship Rise that you definitely want to clear in the beginning because it has tons of red feathers. And all these red feathers give you bonus damage galore. We're going to not get smashed by the stone. Please don't get smashed by the stone. Then you're going to turn around and make your way up this stair. Sorry, ladder. Past Jeremiah, Jeffrey, Jibbity Dibbity Debbity Jones. And at the bottom, you have the fire guy. This dude you kill with fire bombs and throwing knives, and you get yourself the Flaming Mask already, and all the spells you need for the next couple of hours. And this leads us to the third spell, which is going to make you agile and nimble on the battlefield. It is the dashing backward into the forward fireball pooping that I showed you against the bird dude, and that is now absolutely taking down our copy boss. The very good thing about this spell is it triggers alacrity. We talked about alacrity, right? So if they try to hit you while you do the fire spewing, you will turn intangible and dash their attack while still shooting out the damage and getting a Skyborn Might for it to then do it again and again and again and again and again. That one you also get very early at the Doom Willow Beach. You will have to make your way through the whole region, and with fire spells, it's extremely easy until you unlock the shortcut that takes you back to the beginning altar of the Doom Willow Beach. For this, you'll have to kick down the little corpse bridge here. That will be after you met the red-clad lady and go up this stair. Down here is the path to the boss, by the way. And if you then turn left instead of right for the shortcut, you'll meet a Birdman. He's quite rough and toughened to deal with, but if you use the fire mask, you should be able to handle him. And he drops you the next fire spell. And the Burning Flames is one of those magic scaling ones. Bottom right corner, you can see that. Other spells like Echo of Lu Bingzang, feathering scaling. Echo of Soulwood, feathering scaling. You would still do damage with them, but way less than you actually do with your magic scaling spells. And the Burning Flame reads exactly being hit while leaping backwards triggers alacrity. Again, make sure to be above that 50%, 90% madness to actually get the Skyborn Might. Now, before we get to the crazy damage scaling via benedictions, tempering, and also where to put the rest of your skill points and pendants. Which other spells are we using here? And that is the Lotus Lantern and the Lotus Soul Flame. I did try around with Dark Frost Flames, Thunderstorm, Ethereal Form, Vorpal Blades, Heavenly... All of them are not worth it. The bosses are not even vulnerable. You actually miss the bosses. You're not going to get any fun damage there. I'm sorry. The best turns out to be the Echo of Dutanga together with the Infernal Flames, Burning Flames, later then the Lotus Lantern, and against big bosses, the Lotus Soul Flame, to do the absolute super nuke. And for the Lotus Soul Flame, the super nuke, it's only good against large bosses. Humanoid, tiny bosses, Bow Sorceress, Bow Magus, a White Robed Elder, not good. The Tiger big? Yes. By Crew big? Yes. The Dragon and the final boss? Yes, also very nice against those. And even against the guy, the bandit leader, Radon from Timu, which you meet in the Cloudspire Pass. And technically, you wouldn't have the Lotus Soul Flame until you have the complete Cloudspire beaten. But as soon as you get to Hill's Watch, you could make yourself to Mount Zenvu Battlefield Pass. Not further, just the Battlefield Pass. And from the altar, you're making your way up the ramparts, up the wall. That's why I'm saying you could have this at the start of the Cloudspire, because you don't need to fight anything here. You just walk up the stairs. If you want to or not, kill the dude who's guarding it. That would be Jeremiah here. Boop. And then the spell is just on this corpse. Done already. Now, I did kill the Snow General with Echo of Dutanga, Fire Mask, and also the Soul Flame dashing back spell. But if I had the Lotus Soul Flame already, that would have been nice. Also for the end boss of the Cloud Spire, the Bridal Monstrosity, I think you could have nuked her too with that. So maybe think about getting it early. Now what about the Lotus Lantern? Because that spell is quite nice. It takes super long to channel, but it will stagger the opponent. It will throw them over as it connects. And I kind of found it very useful against the Bow Sorceress because I'll just be close to her, take a certain skill point that makes me immune to getting staggered with so high magic spells, and then just throw her over and spam her with attacks. I'll show you in the skill tree the don't get staggered thingy in a second. First, where do we get the Lotus Lantern? For this, you should have cleared the Cloud Spire already, and then Mount Zenvu, make yourself to the Zenvu Antechamber. If this is your first time here, you'll have to make your way through the left pagoda into the right pagoda, and then over this bridge into the courtyard that we're gonna shortcut into right now. Because I really don't want to walk through the pagodas, but you have to. Then, as we arrive in the courtyard, make sure to clear out everyone. There are tons of mercury. And here you get the Ethereal Form spell that is an auto-evade dodge. You don't actually need it because your Soul Flame backwards dash alacrity spell is simply better. Now we get Jeremiah Flame Dancer here. I really dislike these opponents. If you manage to actually dash close to them and get them staggered already, that's the best thing you can do. And you saw I just stood next to him sideways, right? I didn't actually stood behind him really. It was more this weird sideways. Now you make yourself up the stairs and rush through the pagoda. No need to go downstairs unless you're prone to falling off sideways of bridges. Run past Jeremiah, Jimothy, and make your way to the back and through these spiky thingies. Now, I'm really bad at this, and I tend to actually die when doing that. Don't ask me how I managed to die, but I'm just really bad. And at the very end, you get the Tome of Silver Seeking. That Tome of Silver Seeking you bring to your friend Wuchang, and then you can buy yourself the Lotus Lantern. And I think it also unlocks the Cinder Incantation, which I'll experiment more with on the live stream. And since you don't want to get interrupted casting these big spells, you're going to be heading all the way over to the left here, Skyborn Call 2, and then on top of it is Skyborn Resilience. Spells that require 4 or more Skyborn might increase your tenacity, making these spells more difficult for enemies to interrupt. More difficult in this case means you can't actually cast them right next to the opponent. You will still take damage from their hits, so make sure to have enough life. But worst comes to worst, you will at least get your spell off and not get thrown out of the casting, and then either stagger them or do so much damage that they just keel over. Now let's get to the damage boost and then where to spend our skills. For our temper, we're using the Bone Needle magic, and that makes our spells more potent as we use it on the weapon, together also with the Shadow Stone Needle. The Shadow Stone Needle gives us also more magic potency. And then also the Everlight Stone Needle of Continuity that you get in Chapter 5 for longer tempering. Lastly, I have a normal agility or strength that really doesn't give me any more meaningful damage, but I don't have another temper stone. If you actually found one, put that in the comments below. And for our benedictions, we're using the discipline stacking. We have 3, 6, 9 disciplines are known for bonus damage, together with a mastery for 12 disciplines are known for bonus damage. And the amount of disciplines you can see in your inventory. I know 12, so I get 68% bonus damage. It's crazy. Now you already know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disciplines from the very beginning on. You only have to get another 3 in your sword tree, with another 2 in the spear tree, and then lastly another 2 in the axe tree. Right now I'm level 69, and I've had enough skill points to take all of them. So if you're higher level, you can already knock this out easily. Keep in mind that these 3 are only worth it if you have all 3, and if you know 12 discipline skills. Before you can get that, don't do it. The 2 first stones are being sold by Wuchang. He gets you the +3, and he gets you the +6. And the final stone you get from the Panda Bear for your bamboo sprouts. Now, in order for him to stock this, you need to be in Chapter 5 already. So you have to kill the Mount Zenvu boss, you have to kill Bai Crew, you have to finish the Cloud Spire, and then teleport yourself to Analem, to the next area. Until you have these 3. I've been using increased damage dealt while at full health, and increased damage dealt while at full health, but also increased stamina usage. We don't use stamina, only for dodging. Then as our green benediction, we have increased stamina recovery speed during Skyborn Might because I never get anything useful otherwise. And lastly, for the wisdom benediction, we use Skyborn magic. Skyborn Might increase your spell damage for a time. You get this one in chapter 1 already, very early. And later we get the Skyborn Force for increase your damage during Skyborn Might, until we then unlock the 9 discipline one. For our talismans, it's 2 you can buy. The Bird Pendant increases your weapon's magic damage, and the Fiend Felling Pendant increases damage dealt against large enemies, as you're mostly actually fighting large enemies, and everything is kind of quantified as large because they're all just bigger than you. Both of them are sold by Tao Qing. You're going to spend 3,300 and 3,000, and you can pretty much buy them already in the Shoe Sanctum as you start the game. Really make sure to invest the points, as they just like are 30% bonus damage. And I don't actually know how much the Bird Pendant is, but it's tons. And it does not only increase your weapon's magic damage, also your spell potency. And then for even more damage, I play the Tigerless Pendant, which increases damage dealt, but also increases damage taken. Now again, I don't care about the damage taken, as I have my spell, my Burning Flames, to dash back and forth and not actually get hit by anything. So screw the bonus damage taken. For this pendant, we go back to Mount Zenvu and the Avian Dwelling. Here you're going to make your way through the whole goddamn area and meet the White Robe Elder. He's going to tell you to please assist him, and then you assist him by unlocking this shortcut and going all the way to kill the Bow Sorceress. The Bow Sorceress being that blue feathered bird lady, and for this you want the Lotus Lantern, as it just staggers her and staggers her and staggers her. After then killing the lady, you make your way back, then over the shortcut, but instead of going in her direction, we go over this tree bridge, which takes us to the White Robed Elder again. Don't forget to actually rest at the altar beforehand, because otherwise he won't appear. And the Elder here gives you the Tigerless Pendant and then disappears. Later, as you enter chapter 6, after chapter 5, you can return back to him for a little surprise. Where do you spend your skill points from now on, though? After you had like 69 skill points, after you've unlocked the things that you actually need with the discipline skills. What you want to do is definitely reach 50 magic. Again, 50 is the hard cap. Afterwards, investing more points is not really much worth it. I mean, I get another 4 points right now, so I can bring myself up to 48 magic and get 2 more magic points. But taking something like +5 agility, absolutely not worth it. +5 strength, also not worth it. What you're looking for is more vitality and more endurance, that we can take the hits and we can also avoid the hits. Make sure to have all your temperance charges and all your acupoints unlocked. And don't actually care about a point in feathering, as we're not using feathering sorceries. Therefore, it's going to be endurance, endurance, and endurance. Simply for me at this point. And in good old fashion, to give you an even better feeling for the build, how it plays, how it vibes, here's a boss fight for you. Enjoy, and tell me in the comments below, how's the magic playthrough going for you? Okay, so he's going to jump. You go 1, 2, 3, and then... Nope, shit. Shit. Yes. Okay, it's possible. If he hits you with that, with the noise, he cuts your throat. Sounds brutal, but that's what he does. Dude, that was a killer move. That was a killer move. I'll take it, Sean. I'll take it. Come on, give me that Skyborn Might and I win. Bam! Woo! First try.